Yeah.
Well, good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us in our council chambers. Just FYI, we have 3 separate meetings tonight. First is our Public Housing Authority, which is just on consent, a regular council meeting, which everything again is on consent, and then a study session. All the public uh, gatherings or special appearances is in the second of those 3. So with that, I'd like to call to order a Public Housing Authority Commission regular meeting, and clerk, please take the roll.
Chairman Harkey,
Here.
Vice Chair Harris,
Here.
Commissioner Loring,
Here.
Commissioner Encinas,
Here.
Commissioner Ellis,
Here.
Commissioner Stewart,
Here.
Commissioner Orlando,
Here.
Commissioner Poston.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Do we have any unscheduled public appearances tonight for the Public Housing Authority?
No, Chair, we do not.
All right, so on our consent agenda, we did have Councilmember Ellis and I ask for a very brief presentation on item number 4, the SAMR payment standard. Amy Jacobson.
Good evening, Chairman and members of the Commission. Tonight, I will briefly discuss our 2025 payment standards for the Housing Choice Voucher Program. What are the payment standards? Payment standards are issued by HUD annually, and housing authorities are required to issue those on a yearly basis. The maximum rent payments to landlords are the payment standards. The family contributes 30% of their income to the rent, and the subsidy pays the difference to the landlord up to that payment standard. How are payment standards calculated? HUD publishes the fair market rents by state for each county in the nation. Last year, we used Maricopa County's fair market rents to create the payment standards, which was in range. We were allowed to go up to 120% of the fair market rents. We were currently on a waiver, which ends at the end of this month. HUD has recently issued the small area fair market rents, which basically means that housing authorities are required to use the zip code for that city. So for instance, in Chandler, we have our payment standards that were issued by zip code. So as you can see here on the screen, each zip code has its own payment standard. And the purpose really is to be competitive within the marketplace here in Chandler. As we know, rents are increasing, and instead of painting one big brush of one payment standard by Maricopa County issuing that, we're really able to dissect each zip code and figure out what the payment standard is for each of that zip code. As you can see here on the map, Chandler zip codes here, and I just wanted to highlight real quickly. For instance, in zip code 85224, a one bedroom would be about $2,060, where zip code in 85249, the one bedroom zip code, that would be about $2,600. And again, this is the maximum payment standard that we, with the PHA, would allow for a landlord to be given for that voucher. So again, it just allows more competitiveness within the marketplace by the zip code. And this is a requirement for many of the jurisdictions in Maricopa County because of the market rents. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
So in general, this is a favorable move that for vouchers, it gives those that we issue them or those who have them more options to be local rather than be priced out of our market. Is that correct?
That's correct. And it really allows us to utilize our vouchers. Currently, we're at 96% of our housing choice voucher utilization rate. So this increase really is minor. It's very nominal. We've already been competitive with our payment standards historically with our voucher program, but this just basically kind of memorializes it and being it more local zip code based.
Very good. Councilmember Ellis, any
Thank you,
comments,
Mayor.
questions?
Really appreciate the way that HUD decentralized the payment and giving us the opportunity now. ball is in our court and we can actually increase those vouchers as you mentioned. But my question is that at this time, will that help us to increase the amount of heads in beds that we are going to be able to put out there? Because now we can use our vouchers to the max. Will that increase? Because I know we have 4,000 people on waiting lists.
We do, Councilmember Ellis, it will allow us for us to be competitive with our vouchers. So for instance, a landlord can request market rents for just a regular individual that's seeking rental housing. And with somebody that has a voucher, we can pay up to that payment standard or really that market rent to allow our families to be housed in all areas of the city. So it will increase our utilization, yes.
All right, the next question, will that also be valid with any type of apartments? They can just walk into a place and just say, hey, I'm able to afford this apartment because it's $1,800 a month, but HUDs will pay up to $2,000 and be able to go ahead and get their rent and with your guys' assistance and be able to get that apartment anywhere in those zip codes.
That is correct, yes. And it's not just apartments, it's any rental housing. So it could be a townhome, it could be even a single family home.
Okay,
Yes.
well, appreciate that. Thank you, Mayor.
Commissioners, any other questions? Vice Commissioner.
Yes, just a quick question. I know we have a waiting list. My question is that with other individuals outside of our community, the voucher, is it because it's a federal voucher in a sense or federally funded? Could other people potentially come that's from outside of our state come in with that voucher? And if they link up with a landlord, they can use that voucher then to basically get housing assistance and with that landlord?
Sure.
You understand the question?
I do, yes.
Okay.
Vice Commission member, we are allowed to, we're allowed to, when we open a wait list for a housing authority, anybody can apply. So it's any individual that meets low income or moderate income household requirements. Then when we close a wait list, we have preferences. And within Chandler, we have preferences such as living and working in Chandler. So of those individuals that get selected and placed on the wait list, they are prioritized based on our preference. And then once the individual or the family is selected off the wait list, then they're able to have the voucher issued to them and then have choice mobility wherever they would like to live in Chandler. But we do have preferences for those individuals that are placed on our wait list, like I mentioned, that are living and working in Chandler, those that are elderly, that are disabled. And so, yes, but anybody can apply. But again, we do select based on preferences in Chandler.
Well, I was just more specifically, and I wanted to make sure I'm understanding this correctly. So let's say, for instance, I was a resident of Phoenix and I applied for their voucher program, and their voucher program then approved me to apply. But then I meet a landlord in Chandler who says, I would love to have you as a tenant. I know that you apply for a voucher in Phoenix. Can they then go to that landlord and then use that same voucher, bypassing the meaning that's on the list to be a resident of Chandler with that particular voucher, even though it was received from another jurisdiction outside of Chandler?
So Vice Commission member, if they have an issued voucher, say for instance, like in your example, the city of Phoenix, and they have a voucher, they can port into Chandler, yes. That is an option so long as that landlord accepts that voucher here in Chandler. But yes, that is an option for them.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Commissioners, any other questions? Seeing none, a motion would be in order.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion.
Commissioner Stewart.
Oh, thank you. I think after 8 years, I'd know the rhythm by now. I'd like to make a motion to approve the Public Housing Authority Commission regular meeting for Monday, December 9th, 2024.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second, Mayor.
Second by Councilmember
Oh,
Commissioner Ellis. Thank you. I still struggle over those words every time. All right, Council, we have a motion and a second. Unless there's any further discussion, recusals. Seeing none, please vote. Call the roll.
Voice.
Vice Chair Harris,
Yes.
Commissioner Loring. Commissioner Encinas.
Yes.
Commissioner Ellis.
Yes.
Commissioner Stewart.
Yes.
Commissioner Orlando.
Yes.
Commissioner Poston.
Yes.
Chairman Hartkey.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. Commissioners, thank you. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas to you. And this concludes our Public Housing Authority meeting. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Chandler City Council, December 9th. Clerk, please take the roll.
Mayor Hartkey.
Here.
Vice Mayor Harris.
Yes. Here.
Councilmember Encinas.
Here.
Councilmember Ellis.
Here.
Councilmember Stewart.
Here.
Councilmember Orlando.
Here.
Councilmember Poston.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you so much. Our invocation tonight will be delivered by Reverend Sarah Oglesby Dunnigan of Valley Unitarian Universalist, and our pledge by Councilmember Orlando. Reverend.
Today, I want to offer a prayer of presence, and that's not the kind of things you receive from each other this time of year, but the thing that we give to each other right now, being in the room together. And so I ask that instead of bowing your head to retreat into an inner spiritual world, you allow yourself a moment to be present to Spirit as Spirit moves in this room. Let your eyes and ears see and hear each other with respect and care. We may pray using different language to name the holy, but we are given the capacity to see, hear, and experience the holy in each other and in the world we have inherited to steward and to protect. So as we pray to a God of many names and no name at all, to the Spirit of love and life, I pray that we may find the strength to resist the messages that allow us to dehumanize each other and the courage to name our fears and face them, for the capacity to collaborate and to be honest, for the wisdom to see beyond our own needs and to work for the common good. May our values of fairness, compassion, and accessibility be undiminished by our desire to be effective and efficient. May we begin and end as neighbors who care about each other. May our smiles convey the prayer that we carry for each other's well-being. For this, in your many names we pray, O Holy One. Amen, and blessed be.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Reverend. Every time you said mayor, I thought you were talking to me and I had to refocus. So thank you. And thank you, Councilmember Orlando. Next on our agenda is scheduled public appearances, and if Councilmember Encinas would join me up front. And first on our scheduled public appearances are service recognitions. City Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of City Council. We do have 3 employee service recognitions this evening. And for the first, I'd like to call forward our Chief Information Officer, Sandeep Dalokia.
Good evening, Mayor, Council members. Tonight, I'd like to invite Jason Anna to come join us up in the front. We are recognizing his 15 years of service. Jason joined the city back in 2009, an IT pro whose skills are well-rounded. From Novell to Windows, he led the great shift, boosting our tech stack with a much-needed facelift. As the sole Linux guru, we're in good hands, no issue too big for his expert commands. CrowdStrike, no problem. Jason saved the day with scripts and automation, clearing the way. Beyond his tech work, Jason's a board game king, a problem solver, always on the wing, with an amazing wife, 4 great kids, and 2 cats at his side. He hikes, camps, and games when work is set aside. So here's to Jason for all he has done, an IT legend for all second to none, who for another 20 years will keep us on the tech stack on the web. Congratulations, Jason.
Mayor and Council, for our second service recognition, I'd like to call forward our Economic Development Director, Micah Miranda.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'd like to recognize Ryan Kaut for his 10 years of service with the City of Chandler. So Ryan actually joined the city as an intern, serving in various roles across the organization, and actually joined the ED team in December of 2014, where he was a research assistant. And over the years, he was subsequently promoted to economic development specialist and economic development program manager. And over those 10 years, it's been wonderful to see Ryan grow professionally. I can say without any doubt that he genuinely cares about the city of Chandler, the residents, and what it's going to take for Chandler to remain economically vibrant into the future. And on a personal side, I really do appreciate everything you do for us. Your work doesn't go unnoticed. You do everything in the back, in the front, to make Chandler the dynamic place it is. So thank you for everything. I can't imagine not working with you. You're just fantastic, and we're lucky to have you at the city. Thanks, Ryan.
Micah, don't go anywhere. Turn around. You're not done yet. Mayor and Council, I will be handling our third surprise service recognition this evening, and it is for the certificate's in the mail, I promise. Mayor and Council, I'm honored tonight to recognize our esteemed Economic Development Director, Micah Miranda, on his 10 years of service to the City of Chandler. Micah began his tenure with Team Chandler in December 14. His face says it all about how appreciative he is that we're doing this tonight for him. After previously serving the cities of Maricopa, Tempe, and Mesa. An East Valley native, Micah returned home for his career after attending the University of Arizona, bear down, and has raised his 4 children here along with his wife, Stacy. Over the last decade, Micah has led some of the most impactful and newsworthy initiatives in the city's history. He has presided over multiple corporate relocations and expansions, including Intel, Northrop Grumman, Rogers Corporation, Wells Fargo, Edwards Vacuum, and many more, diversifying Chandler's tax base and strengthening our economic portfolio. By effectively reaching across department lines and partnering with other thought leaders in the community, he has also been a champion of innovative economic development policy, including the city's water allocation policy, infill incentive program, for Chandler Workforce Development Initiative, and the Choose Chandler Business Retention and Hiring Program during the COVID-19 pandemic. Many of these programs were subsequently copied by other jurisdictions as leading edge policy in economic development. For all these achievements and more, you may know that Micah was named Economic Developer of the Year by the Arizona Association for Economic Development, and Chandler was named the Best City for Business by the Arizona Chamber of Commerce, both awarded in 2023. But what you may not know is Micah is a great economic developer because he truly cares about this community. While economic development is known for being focused on the art of the deal and the classic triangle of relocation, retention, and expansion, Micah goes beyond to advocate for education, job training, infrastructure, and quality of life as essential elements of Chandler's prosperity. He embodies these values in his personal life as well, as you will find no one more committed to supporting his children and the future opportunities he firmly believes they should all enjoy. Thank you, Micah, for your boundless perseverance, creativity, and intellect. We are truly fortunate to have you here in Chandler. Mayor, that concludes our service recognitions this evening. Thank you.
Very good. Next, recognition, Rural Roads Transportation Champion. This is a bit awkward for me. I'd like to call up Mayor McFarland and Irene Higgs. I'm certainly honored to have Mayor McFarland and Irene Higgs here in Chandler with us today to present the Rural Roads Transportation Champion Award. And Mayor McFarland and I have been good friends through the year, and let me turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, council members. It is with great pleasure and honor that I'm here tonight speaking to you. My name is Craig McFarland. I'm actually the past mayor as of last Monday. So I term limited last Monday. So I've been a Joe citizen now for a week. So, but it feels okay. It's all right. Anyway, Mayor Hardy and I have been working together on I-10 widening for at least the last 6 years that he's been elected here, and I've been working on it for about 8 years. So it's been a full-time job for me to harass and pester ADOT to the point where they finally gave up and they put I-10 widening on the 5-year plan. So we're there. We've with the mayor's help and with a lot of other people's help, we've been able to collect the money. It's $1.1 billion. So we could see what $1 billion looks like when we get I-10 widened. I'm going to guess it's going to be more than that by the time we get done. But it's here and it's happening, and it's in large part to Mayor Hardike. So thank you, Mayor.
Well, thank you. And I would say it belongs to all of our mayors, and between I-10 and the work that many mayors have done in Prop 479 that will turn around and also serve all of Arizona through those dollars. It's been an incredible time, and we're grateful for the partnerships that we have. I'm extremely grateful for your work, and I will miss you as a friend and a very effective mayor across our state for the work that you've done. So thank you.
Thank you.
Irene, anything to say?
Sure. Good evening, Mayor, Council. My name is Irene Higgs, and I'm the Executive Director for the Sun Corridor Metropolitan Planning Organization. Work very closely with the Maricopa Association of Governments. They're one of our sister agencies. I'm a staff of 2, so I rely very heavily on MAG to assist us in all of our transportation needs. This year at the Arizona Rural Transportation Summit was our first year to recognize transportation champions. And Mayor Harkey would like to say thank you. Sir, we feel that you are a true champion in transportation. And so please continue carrying that torch. We're going to miss Mayor McFarland, but our new mayor, Lisa Fitzgibbons, is going to be our new mayor and do a great job. So thank you, sir.
We'll make sure.
Yes.
Well, thank you. Come on up for a photo. All right. Thank you again for this honor. And I know that I'll still see you at league events, and looking forward to continue to collaborate with you in your new role in the county as well with economic development. So next on our agenda is the recognition, the Chandler Exchange Club Award to Chandler firefighters and police officers. If I could call up Mark Whitaker and all the Exchange Club members on the dais or audience. Our Chandler Exchange Club public service recognition is an annual tradition that we all look forward to. So Mark, get us started.
Good evening. My name is Leanna Gray. I'm the president of the Exchange Club of Chandler. And I just wanted to say thank you to Mayor Hartke and the City Council for giving us the time to present our award tonight. The Exchange Club of Chandler is a community service organization that has been working in Chandler since 2013. Exchange clubs across the United States strive to give back to their communities and help make them better through community building projects. Just as we strive to improve the communities we live in, we know that first responders work on a daily basis to make their communities safer and a better place to live and prosper. Tonight we would like to we have the privilege to be here tonight to honor Captain Joshua Whitney of the Chandler Fire Department and Police Officer Michelle Potts of the Chandler. Sorry, did I say that backwards? So Captain Joshua Whitney of the Chandler Fire Department and the police officer Michelle Potts of Chandler Police Department as Exchange Club of Chandler First Responders of the Year. In our experience through our various projects, we know that all the members of the Chandler Fire Department and Police Department work to make Chandler a safer and better community. However, Captain Whitney and Officer Potts were put forth by their respective departments for going above and beyond their job descriptions to provide an exemplary service to the city and residents of Chandler. Captain Whitney and Officer Potts, thank you for all that you do. We are honored to have you as our Chandler First Responders of the Year.
All right, I think we're ready for a photo. Nobody else wants to talk.
Ready, 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Flip it up. It's out. All right.
Just Mark, while we are here, you want to make an invitation on Saturday as well?
Yes, please. We, as the Exchange Club, we like to do a lot to serve the community and be involved in community building. One of those projects is this Saturday morning at the Valley of the Sun Cemetery. The project is called the Reads Across America Project. And we will be honoring the over 3,000 veterans that are interred there at the Valley of the Sun. We invite you all to come out and help us lay wreaths on their headstones. Volunteers can start to gather around 8. We will lay wreaths at 9, and we have a formal ceremony at 10. Mayor Hartke will be there to read a proclamation as well. So again, we invite you to come out and be part of our project this coming Saturday morning. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Next, Angel's going to read 5 proclamations. Next, we have the Recognition Government Finance Officers Association Distinguished Budget Presentation. The award for fiscal year 2024-25, and if we could call up our budget team.
So Mayor, if I may, tonight we recognize this amazing budget team, and they're all here tonight except one. So we have Matt Dunbar, Helen Parker, Kat Dixon, Enrique Sandoval. I'm missing Sylvia Dlot and Lucy Vesquez. And then we have Savannah Martinez, who could not make it this evening. But we also recognize the efforts of Sam Lagatuda, who was our Chandler Gilbert Community College intern who contributed in many meaningful ways. So the City of Chandler has earned this Distinguished Budget Presentation Award from GFOA, or the Government Finance Officers Association, for many years. And for fiscal 2024-25, the Budget Document Award makes it the 37th consecutive year. Woohoo! And they work very hard every year to ensure they meet all these requirements. But this award reflects the commitment of staff in meeting the highest principles of governmental budgeting. To receive the budget award, the city must satisfy nationally recognized guidelines and effective budget presentation. The guidelines are designated to assess how well an entity's budget serves as a policy document, a financial plan, an operational guide, and a communication device. The budget documents must be rated proficient in all 4 categories, and in the 14 mandatory criteria within those categories to receive the award. And I'm happy to report that Chandler's budget was rated outstanding in many of those areas. Additionally, I would be remiss if I did not also recognize the vast amount of work done by each department throughout the city manager's office staff, and the mayor and council for their direction and support to create and improve the budget document annually. We are thankful for everyone's contributions and congratulate the city and the budget team for this accomplishment. We are proud to have such a talented and dedicated team, and we celebrate Team Chandler tonight. Thank you.
Matt, would you like to share anything else?
I don't have anything tonight, Mayor. I had a good joke, but I just lost it when you put the mic right on me. So you'll have to come back to me later.
Okay.
Thursday. I'll have one Thursday. It'll be good.
Either that or we expect a memo.
Yeah.
Let's take a photo. And congratulations to the team. We are a city that prides herself on being well-run, and you guys add the cred beyond the ability that when we say we're a well-run city. So we are grateful as council members and mayor. Angel, we're not done yet. All right. Next, we have our digital cities and government GovX. So if I could call up the staff for our digital cities recognition. Our IT team has recently received 2 national designations, which recognize the work of staff from across nearly all departments of Team Chandler. First, Team Chandler placed second for the Digital Cities Award, which focuses on how technology, people, and digital services power innovation and customer engagement. And Kirsten, thank you for joining Council Members Poston and Orlando in Florida to receive this. So we received this award at the most recent NLC conference, as I just mentioned, and we are super excited to receive that. I think the last one we received, where were we?
6th place.
So we've gone from, I think, what, 9th to 6th to 2nd. I like the trajectory.
Next year, we're going to be number 1.
All right. All right. We also placed second for GovX, which focuses on digital and technology services that enhance customer engagement If you were involved in this effort, I think please come on up, and you're already up here. So thank you all for your continued efforts to make Chandler an accessible and innovative community. Kirsten, tell us anything else about these two.
So first of all, this is definitely a Team Chandler effort. This is an IT award, but it's a reflection of all of these great people and many that aren't here tonight to propel the city from an innovation perspective, from a technology innovation perspective. I would be remiss not to recognize our leader, Sandeep, and all the partnerships we've been creating across the city, as well as support from our city leadership and mayor and council that provide the dollars to keep us moving forward in the innovation space. We have some exciting new things coming with emerging tech. We already are doing a lot of amazing things. And like I mentioned before, we're looking forward to taking home first place next year. So keep it up, Team Chandler.
All right. Well, let's take a photo. Let me scoot over here. Oh. Did it leave it?
If you're as tall as Kelly, you need to get it.
You get your-
All right, great. 1, 2, 3. Wonderful.
Jingle bell.
Here we go. Here we go.
All right. We do have one more. This is an exciting one for council. I'd like to call in the video team for the Rocky Mountain Emmy Awards. I'm very excited to announce that our very own video team has earned a Rocky Mountain Emmy Award. Chandler's 2024 State of the City video entitled Struthio, which means?
In Latin, it means ostrich.
Very good. Won the category of graphic arts, and other two Chandler produced videos earned nominations in the commercial and public service announcement categories. We are fortunate to have an extremely talented and gifted digital media team working for the city, and it was very wonderful for several of us to join you at the Rocky Mountain Emmys and to see the joy, surprise, and everything on Courtney and everyone else's face. So we're very excited. Matt.
Absolutely. So, Mayor, I'll just add a couple of words of context. So, the Rocky Mountain Emmy Awards, just for the folks, it's basically television stations, media production companies in Arizona, Utah, New Mexico, and a portion of Southern California. So, we're competing with broadcast entities in all of those states. We have numerous award-winning productions that this team has produced, but this is our first year that we've ever had nominations in the Rocky Mountain Emmy Awards. So we had 3, as the mayor said. So Struthio won the award, but we also had 2 other nominees. We had an award, a nomination for the Joint Team Chandler commercial ads that were put together in collaboration with Human Resources, the Chandler Police Department, and Public Works and Utilities Department. And then we also had a nomination in the public service announcement category for the Let's Go Blonde campaign, which was a unique campaign to really encourage residents to save water by skipping overseeding during the winter. And so want to congratulate again the team for all 3 of those. And we're very excited that we're able to bring home the hardware on Struthio, obviously. So Mayor, we're working on State of the City. So, we're working to put together another award-winning production for the upcoming State of the City as well.
All right. If digital is going to bring home a #1, it's our challenge to bring home another Emmy.
And
we're in good hands with this team.
Stacy, we're trying to bring Stacy. She's back working on
it. Hey. All right, let's do a photo. Come on, Council. Come on down. Nobody knows how to say no to Julie.
We should go in the front.
You guys can do the cheerleader huddle.
Come on down.
Is
everybody squeezing? Ready?
Can you see everybody?
Yeah, that's good. 1, 2. Very good.
One more. So you still sleeping? All right, and that concludes our special announcements, public announcements.
Cut you off right here.
I don't know who's running production now. Are we still live? Are we still live on TV? Yes, we are. They had a little remote for it.
All right, Council, next on our agenda is consent agenda of our regular meeting. Is there a motion?
Mayor,
Motion.
I move that we approve the council regular meeting consent agenda Monday, December 9th, 2024, items 1 through 4.
A motion by Councilmember Orlando,
I second.
second by Councilmember Poston. Any recusals, discussion points? Seeing none, council, please vote.
Motion carries unanimously.
All right, thank you. Council, that concludes our regular meeting of December 9th. One more. Welcome to the December 9th, 2024 study session. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Clerk, take the roll.
Mayor Hartke,
Here.
Vice Mayor Harris, Councilmember Encinas,
Here.
Councilmember Ellis,
Here.
Councilmember Stewart,
Here.
Councilmember Orlando,
Here.
Councilmember Poston.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right, thank you. We have a number of questions that have been called in, and perhaps, Council, some of you might have gotten your answers to your questions, just say so. But item number 2, transit shelters and related services. I'd like to call up Ryan Peters, Strategic Initiatives Director, and Council on Revenue Streams by Councilmember Orlando.
Yeah, Ryan, we've been doing this for like 20-something years. I can't remember how long we've been doing the shelter program. I know we've gotten a revenue stream from that. How's the revenue stream going?
Mayor, Councilmember Orlando, the revenue's been consistent. So we receive it from lottery funds, which is dedicated to our transit services, as well as from our bus stop advertising program. And we roughly bring in about $900,000 a year or so.
So I guess 900,000, right? Yep. So this well covers this almost $700,000 that we knew for the improvements is what I'm hearing you say, right?
Mayor, Councilmember Orlando, that's correct.
Yeah, this has been a really good program for us over the years, and I'm glad to see we're expanding it. And I also understand we're going to expand some bus service too.
Mayor, Councilmember Orlando, that is under development through the MAG funds and the Regional Transportation Authority through the half-cent sales tax that was just renewed by the voters of Maricopa County.
So those that in South Chandler will get a north-south route, right?
Mayor, Councilmember Orlando, we're looking at different expansions, and we're diving deeper into South Chandler, but that's more of a north-south connection. There's not so much opportunity for east-west connection.
Right. All right. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you.
With flex.
Thank you, Ryan.
All right, thank you, Ryan. Next is item number 6. This has been called in by Vice Mayor Harris, Council Members Ellis, Orlando, and Poston. Presentation on the right-of-way temporary use program. Dana. Dana Alvidrez, City Transportation Engineer. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. And I don't have a presentation today for you on this, but I do understand that there were some questions on it, and I'm happy to answer those questions.
Okay, let's start with Vice Mayor and work our way down.
Yeah, just the only thing that I wanted to emphasize, and if you could just kind of reiterate what this program exactly will do for our businesses and how important this is to solving some of the issues that we've been having around traffic.
Of course. Thank you for the question through the mayor and Vice Mayor Harris. This program is going to help us right now. We don't really have teeth in our program right now. It's, we ask them to leave the roadway if they don't have their permits or if they're doing something incorrectly. This gives us teeth and gives us some consequences or penalties if those rules aren't being followed. And again, that's a safety issue for our citizens that are, anyone traveling on a public roadway. It's also more than a safety issue. Obviously, it's an inconvenience for the traveling public if there's additional equipment out there that doesn't need to be there for longer than it needs to be. So we're trying to accommodate, again, both the safety and the inconvenience and trying to minimize that. Obviously, we need to do work to update infrastructure and to, expand and develop, but we want to do that in as efficient way as we can, and this will help us to do that.
So in so many words, this should help with traffic flow by not allowing others who are working on a project to say, "Hey, I want to put the cones out for a week in advance, but there's no work," and people are calling in like, "Hey, there's no one out here, but there's construction, there's roads blocked off." So this program right here is basically saying, "Hey, if you put it out there, then it needs to be in functional use, not we're preparing for it. And if you do put it out there before then you're going to have a fee to pay for putting it out there in advance so the taxpayers can get the benefit back again."
Through the mayor, Vice Mayor Harris, that's correct. It does, it defines in here active work. And there are some things that are active work that, concrete drawing that looks like it's not, work being done. But we'll be able to judge that what that active work is. And yeah, it's either being done or it's waiting for those materials to set. And once those are set, you're correct. They'll be getting some fines for that if they leave them up longer than they're supposed to.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Councilman Morales.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, I'm so glad that we went ahead with this program at this time, and I experienced it this weekend right there on McQueen, going straight to my house. So really appreciate it. You answered the questions that I have concerning the commerce part, whether it was going to really engage our small businesses or big businesses to help them realize that we're not trying to impede them doing their business, but we are trying to help people flow into their businesses so they can continue business as usual. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Orlando.
Yeah, I don't want to be redundant, but I certainly appreciate the effort. Local government does work. And this is a good example of residents coming to us, business owners coming to us, ourselves traveling on those roads, seeing the frustration of these, a mile and a half or half a mile being blocked off and no one's working on that. And we gave you the challenge to come up with a solution, and you did. So, and you saw those awards earlier today. This is Team Chandler, folks. So I want to thank you and your staff for being creative and for looking at and solving this problem, because I already see some of those cones on the sidewalk as we go through this. So even though we haven't officially implemented this, I know some of the developers are saying, hey, they're taking this serious and we're going to open these roads up when there's no one working on it. So kudos to you and the team.
Thank you.
Councilmember Poston.
In the interest of time, ditto Councilmember Orlando. So thank you for doing everything that you've done. Thanks,
All right.
Mayor.
Any additional comments from others? All right.
Thank you.
She's got a few of her own. Thank you, Dana. Next, item number 8, question on project details of the fiber network repair and upgrade. Dennis Ost. Councilmember Orlando.
Mayor, I know we have spent a lot of money over the years on fiber. It's very robust and it's a redundant system. This is a large project, and I just want to get a little more detail of what we're doing here and where we're going and how we're going, what the implementation timeframes are.
Sure.
Mayor, Councilmember Orlando, what you're looking at here is a program rather than a project per se. The program comes from the 2020 Fiber Master Plan, and that plan outlines a number of projects which involve fiber cable replacements, placing fiber in conduit where we don't currently have fiber to connect buildings that aren't currently connected. We're in the process of implementing 4 new hub locations, core switch locations, which will allow redundancy and resiliency to the network that will improve it so that a lot of our critical circuits, all the public safety stuff that's working over that, we've got a number of different networks that actually ride over our fiber, including 3 different PD networks, traffic network, some municipal utilities, the SCADA network, a number of those things that all ride over it, including our normal city email infrastructure, everything that's coming through, going out to the web is all riding over that fiber network. And so it's a list of projects that's in that master plan to fill in all the gaps and reconnect, reconfigure, and resplice all of the existing network to make it meet those demands.
And your time frame?
So the time frame is it's a 13 plus year CIP program. We're in the 0 to 7 year range. We're, as I said, once we deploy these core switches in the next year, we'll start cutting over those circuits. So in the next 4 to 5 years, we should be in a much more resilient position than we have been the last few.
All right, thank you. Appreciate all the work you've done on that as well. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks, Mayor.
Any additional questions or comments for Dennis? Thank you, Dennis. Next, I called in item number 23, Leah Powell, brief presentation on the project coming up. So very high level, tell us how many, where it is, timeline, just so our residents can know.
Yes. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you so much for this opportunity. As you know, this is a very, very big project for us, and we are super excited about being here this evening. Very quickly, I want to introduce Emily Ablin, who is with Brinshore, our development partner. Emily is here should you have any questions for Brinshore. And then I'm going to have Amy go ahead and come up and do the presentation, and we both will be here to answer questions.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight, I briefly will discuss the development agreement with our co-developer to redevelop the city's public housing site that's over 50 years old. Under your direction, we have embarked on the public housing redevelopment strategy. This involves the second project within our inventory that we will be redeveloping. The purpose is to redesign our aged public housing and really get a creative public-private partnership. And tonight I'll just speak about our new project, which is called the Haven on Hamilton. As you are aware, we had Villas on McQueen. It was our first project. It's located on 77 North McQueen. We had the groundbreaking on June 27th. It's in construction. It has 157 units, and we will be moving public housing residents onto the site. The next site, regards to the development agreement being proposed tonight, is the Haven on Hamilton, which is the second project. It will be vacated once the residents are moved on to Villas on McQueen. The groundbreaking is late 2026, and we anticipate 250 units. The development agreement with Brinshore. Brinshore is a national public or affordable housing developer that's experienced with public housing authorities, specifically using the rental assistance demonstration program in what we will be repositioning this public housing project. In the development agreement, will be the co-developer with Brinshore. We will retain ownership of the land through a ground lease. It will be a 30-year affordability period, again, for residents that are low and moderate income. The site plan rendering is before you there. It's consistent of 5 buildings with a community room, amenities for our residents, and really enjoying the site surrounding of the amenities within that project. We potentially will have a Head Start building. We'll have a gym, potentially a site splash pad for the kids. So it's a very unique project, multi-generational, with lots going on in the project. The potential unit mix is 250 units. Like I mentioned, 1 to 5 bedrooms. We'll be transitioning 37 units in addition to 53 public housing units. So that's a total of 90. And then we'll be adding 160 new affordable housing units on that site. Again, it's multi-generational living with all the amenities there listed. Our financing strategy is we have a commitment from Maricopa County of $5 million. We will be utilizing that for construction and soft cost. We will have a bond allocation with the City of Chandler's IDA and applying for a 4% low-income housing tax credit and utilizing the RAD Section 18 blend. Our timeline, we've actually had our first meeting with residents today. We'll be meeting tomorrow with the public housing residents. Some of the feedback that we got today, they're very, very excited. They are asking when it's going to be built, and we said this is the first, this first process, so it will take a little while, but we will be very communicative with our public housing residents the entire process. We'll be submitting our financing applications, hoping to start construction late 2026, and then construction will take up to 24 months. With that, I'm happy to entertain any questions you may have.
Well, thank you. I'm personally excited that we're upgrading our housing stock for those who have been living in these, as well as adding substantial that will be multi-generational, serve our seniors, serve our veterans, serve our general population. There's public housing or public transportation available right there. This just kind of checks so many of the boxes, services that works for us. So I know we're excited about moving ahead, but I just wanted to give a highlight and a shout out to this to our community. So Council, any additional comments or questions? Do you have your mic on?
Thank you.
Councilmember Ellis.
Thank you. Appreciate that, Mayor. I was saying that great gratitude toward this project. I've watched Chandler 38 years, in the making for us to be able to transfer those people into this grand area. I remember when the kids came to the 5th floor to visit that lived into that same building. And when I told them that I would love to have, all they wanted was a basketball court. And when we told them we couldn't build one because we were going to build better for them, they didn't believe us. And here we are now. You said you had your first meeting with the family members. So I'm excited to see these kids being transitioned into this apartment, and their lives never going to be the same. So thank you for always working so hard with your team. It's Leah and your team. Really appreciate what you do in that area of housing for us here in Chandler. So grateful. Thank you.
Thank you. Additional comments or questions? All right. Thank you. Item number 24, Councilmember Poston, a briefing on the state housing trust funds to prevent housing insecurity. Leah Paul.
Thank you very much, Mayor and Council. 1 second here. Let me pull up the presentation. There we go. All right, good evening. Thank you very much. This presentation is on item number 24. These are the state housing trust funds. This is a new contract that we'll be receiving from the state, 2-year contract. And the goal of the program is to expand our prevention activities for people experiencing homelessness. And it's through one-time assistance. As you can see, the budget is for $343,000, and we expect to serve up to about 120 families. I do want to point out in this picture, if you see the young man there, I kind of noticed the look on his face. This is the first time this young man ever had a room of his own on this day. And that's significant as we talk about what these funds are used for. These funds are used to help these families coming out of homelessness get into new apartments. So imagine how expensive it is to move into an apartment or a house. You've got all of those application fees, you have all the deposits, the utility deposits, just so many things. And more we're seeing layers of administrative fees on top of it. And so these funds are so crucial to keeping people getting keeping them moving in that cycle, getting them housed. That's what these funds are for, to be able to get people in. Sometimes we are paying off past evictions or other, maybe it's a money that's owed on a utility so they can start their new services. So these are crucial funds, and we're so excited to be able to have that opportunity to have this type of funding. What's really exciting to me is when you look at the statistics. We started this program with the Housing Stability Services after COVID. What we found is we had our tenant-based rental assistance program that we've had since 2013. We were given emergency housing vouchers through COVID, and those really require intensive case management, but the funding wasn't there for case management. Through COVID dollars, some other funding, some general fund, we've been able to have staff that work on this program. So you can see the success rate we're having. We have 97% remained housed. Another key component in here is we have Section 8 families that have difficulty finding units and have difficulty moving in as well. And you heard Amy earlier talk about we have a 96% utilization rate on our Section 8 vouchers now. This is one of the reasons why, because we have this housing stability program and this flexible funding to be able to help people get housed stably. And again, the key is having this intensive case management that we have. Other cities keep asking what Chandler's doing differently, and this is what Chandler's doing differently. We're the only one that has this program like this, which is why the state actually reached out to us about providing funding. Just a couple success stories for you. You see the family on the left. This is their security deposit. This family became homeless because of some medical issues and increase in rent. And then this gentleman below is a gentleman who is blind, and he was in a very unsafe situation. So we were able to safely rehouse him and get him intensive case management. And he's gone on to a vocational training program and getting back into the workforce. Any questions?
Councilmember Poston.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Leah. I really appreciate that. Just on a personal level, I've done work with people who have been moved into an apartment for the first time that have had insecurity, housing insecurity for years and years. And there is nothing like those personal stories. So I really appreciate you sharing some of the stories that came tonight. But mostly I just wanted to highlight the great work that you're doing and also make sure, because there is such a focus on housing and homelessness right now, and you are doing such a great job. And I also wanted to highlight that it's a multi-pronged approach, that we have a couple of those items on our agenda, and there is no one single solution, but you continue to move forward and try and find new solutions. So congratulations. And I just think this is an amazing program and appreciate the personal stories that you shared.
Through
Thanks,
the mayor,
Mayor.
Councilmember Poston, thank you very much. And you pointed out something that's so important. There is not one solution. And just to let you know, we've looked at some math recently, and it's about $50,000 a year at the cost to services of someone who is on the street. So compare that to getting a family moved in. And of course, it multiplies the more people you have in a family. So compare that to getting somebody moved in and stably housed.
Additional questions or comments?
Quick, Mayor.
Councilmember Ellis.
Do you have some partners into helping, for example, a faith-based organization that will help you get things for welcoming those people when out there moving into those apartments, like utensils that they need bed sheets, all kinds of things like that? Are you working with any group, particularly in the community, that support you into those transitions?
Yes, through the mayor, Councilmember Ellis, we do that in a couple of ways. We first of all, through Forest City Chandler, we have had various partners come forward. We also have our Change Up Fund that comes through, that started out through Forest City Chandler, where residents can donate for people that are experiencing homelessness. We sometimes have unique situations where we might use those funds to get somebody into an apartment if we didn't have enough funding in this program, for example. We have had various organizations sponsor the move-in kits. We do have a standard move-in kit that we use. And we, I believe, still have that up even on Amazon on a link where if somebody wanted to donate either a piece or all of a move-in kit, there would be that ability to do that. We definitely look for partners all the time. We still accept a lot of used furniture. We do have to contract with the moving company because it's just too much for staff to physically move someone in. So part of these funds go for contracting with moving companies, but we will accept items from time to time. We don't have storage per se for them, but we will still accept some items when we're able to when we know we have somebody lined up for housing.
That's wonderful. Again, thank you so much for all the work that you guys are doing in that space. And what I love about it is the fact that we can quantify this thing. We have numbers and we know the people face to face. And I've encountered some of those people that have been into this program and now they are really working and doing what they're supposed to do in this community. So there's nothing like it. Appreciate you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Mayor.
I have two comments. First of all, happy belated birthday again
Thank you,
yesterday.
Mayor.
And two, if you hadn't recently won a Gabe Zimmerman Award, I would say you ought to. So,
Thank you, Mayor. I
so thank you.
appreciate it. Well, we appreciate the support we have from Mayor and Council. Again, Chandler stands out because of the unique programs that we have, and we wouldn't have that without the support that we have here. So thank you.
Thank you. Next item, item number 27, called up by Councilmember Ellis, a presentation on the rifle shields. Chief Chapman. Oh, show and tell. I love it.
So good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm here to talk about the need for upgrading our patrol shields that you see in front of you right now. A couple reasons for this. One, when the men and women of the Chandler Police Department are faced with volatile and critical incidents, we prioritize the elements of time, distance, and cover to successfully resolve them. The more time we have, the more distance we have, and the better cover we have, the greater propensity there is to have a successful outcome. Unfortunately, we live in a very dynamic situation, and sometimes these elements aren't perfect. So one of the things that we have to help and to provide cover for our department employees are these patrol shields. And you see them here before you. We're asking to upgrade and purchase 36 of them. We have 18 patrol teams, so there would be 2 on each team. And the difference in the upgrade, there's 2 main reasons. One, these have about a 5-year lifespan on them, and these are coming to the end of service. But more importantly, the technology has gotten better. And this patrol shield you see, which is being carried by our officers now, is only rated for handgun rounds to be resistant. The new ones that we're asking to be purchased are rifle round resistant. And based on the number of things happening across the country and here in the Valley, we're taking on a lot more rifle fire than we are handgun rifle. And so this item before you will serve the men and women every single day and be at their service. So it's a necessity from a timeout phase with this, and the technology has gotten much better. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions or entertain comments.
Councilmember Ellis.
Thank you, Mayor. Chief, I wanted to really hear exactly what you're explaining to us to the point where what is this was going to do for the department and how it was going to upgrade it and make sure that those men and women get home safely every night if we had to use something like this and for instance in a situation. So it is the testament to the fact that we as mayor and council really want to make sure that we put our money into the places where we know that it's going to serve the department and keep our policemen and women very safe, for them to continue to do the work that they want to do. Thank you again for bringing these kinds of items to us whenever the needs are there, and then that we will be able to provide it for them. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Additional questions or comments? So Chief, afterwards, I'd love to see how heavy that is, but I'll wait till after the meeting. So.
Yeah, I was going to actually invite Chief Wiggins up here to do a live fire demonstration, but he's already a little bit crippled, so we'll forego that for the next one.
Was it because he tried to carry that and it didn't work? Or?
He secretly wants to be a police officer, but this when he picks up shields like this, he can't do it, so it's okay. And I know this is going to come full circle, so that's the way it goes.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Next item called in, item 31 by Councilmember Poston, looking question on concrete repair and maintenance services. Mr. Knudsen.
Yes, through the mayor, Councilmember Poston.
This evening, we have item 31. Item 31 is a contract for two different contractors that we use for our concrete repair. As part of our city's street repaving program, it's been standard practice that whenever a road is repaved, we also repair and replace any concrete sidewalks, curbs, and gutters that are damaged or do not meet the current specification of the Americans with Disabilities Act. And so as part of our $27.1 million street repaving program, which was given to us last year, the concrete work that we have to do in advance of all this repaving is extensive. So the $8.1 million contracts that you see before you tonight, item 31, is $8.1 million taken from that $27 million in our capital budget. And it consists of about $1.1 million in GO bonds. And then the other $7 million is coming from the Highway User Revenue Fund, which is a state fund that comes back to us. So it's a lot of money for concrete repair, but we do an awful lot of street work here in Chandler to keep our streets nice. And so that's been our practice, is to do that concrete work in advance. So it's all done. When we leave a neighborhood, it's brand new.
Councilmember Poston.
Thank you. And thank you for the conversation a little earlier this afternoon as we discussed this. It just, when you read $8 million for concrete work, it sounds like an awful lot. But I know we're very proactively doing both the concrete work and that ADA work. And then even a little, I guess, I don't want to say it, just a little negativity at the very beginning because we weren't notifying our neighbors. But it's, in my opinion, it's not whether you make a mistake, it's how you correct it. And it seems like that got corrected by the contractor very quickly. So far as that we just recently as a council got kudos from a neighborhood regarding this program. And so I just wanted you to be able to explain that the ADA program is a little more intensive than just repairing the sidewalks, and to talk about that program a little bit. And I appreciate the highlighting of where those funds are coming from as well. So
we have an amazing team of 3 individuals that oversee this whole program, and they do a fantastic job. So, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, John.
Thanks.
No additional questions or comments. Our last one is item 41, contracts and agreements by Councilmember Orlando.
Yeah, just a quick question, City Manager. We talked earlier today, Mayor. As you know, for our work session, this was designed as an outreach program to talk to residents, area about potentially extending our runway. And I didn't want to have any miscommunication that we've already started on a design of the runway, because this is a little bit misleading or potentially miscommunicating. So I asked the city manager to address that, and I'll let you explain what we talked about earlier.
Yeah, of course. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Councilmember Orlando. Thank you for calling this in for clarification. Happy to explain what we're talking about. And it is exactly to your point, what we discussed in the work session several weeks ago with our airport manager, Ryan Reeves. So we are at a conceptual phase. We're talking about renderings of what potentially may be, depending on the reaction that we get from our residents. As we know, this is an issue with a long history. The intent of this study is really to reach out to our communities, our businesses, our neighborhoods, our major employers, our airport stakeholders, and understand at a much deeper level than even the FAA requires what is people's understanding of the airport and what is their opinion or concerns or support for future enhancements, including a potential runway expansion. We're not going to be doing any actual engineering or technical calculations at this time. We're really talking about what the possibilities might be, and we'll be coming back to you in a future work session down the road to talk about what we heard and talk about what the next steps might be before we proceed to any type of actual engineering or design work. So thank you for that clarification.
Thank you, and I appreciate your clarification tonight. And any design is purely from a picture standpoint so that we could show potentially what some of the options would be, but there's no design. I didn't want anyone miscommunicated, think we're on a road to
That's correct.
Building this without getting input.
That's correct. Nothing you could take from this process would be suitable for construction documents.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Mayor.
Council, those are all of the items that have been called in, and I think Vice Mayor would like to gavel out. So. We'll see you all on Thursday.